everybody. Good morning or good evening, wherever it is for you. It's morning for me. It is 8:55 at the time I'm recording this. My name is Brianna, and thank you so much for tuning into the ReBeat. If you are tuning in for the first time, which you should be, so let's just say if this is your first time just hearing about this podcast in general, let me kind of give you a rundown what this is really quick. Basically, the ReBeat is a podcast where I'm going to talk about things that interest me a lot. Like, I have, my head fixated on it, and I'm just like, bro, I gotta talk about this. Or I gotta take this and spin it back, put my own little remix on it, and give it to y'all and see what y'all think. I'm mainly interested about anime, video games, just like your overall pop culture shit. Movies, Disney, DreamWorks, you name it. Also things that I want to learn, and also just really random shit. So you never really know exactly what you're gonna get coming onto this podcast, but I 100% assure you it's always gonna be some super interesting, super amazing stuff that you guys are gonna want to keep coming back for. I will make that promise to make amazing content that you guys will be able to enjoy, and hopefully you guys will give me some things that you want to hear me discuss, and I'll be more than happy to talk about it. So I'm excited for this journey. And with that being said, I'm going to just get right into it. The first thing I want to say that I have not only also been saying to everybody, it is Black History Month, baby. I can't stop talking about it, y'all. I'll pull up into work and I'll see my coworkers, and the very first thing I will say to them is, hey y'all, happy Black History Month, whatever day it is, day 3, give it up for day 3, y'all, I just love Black History Month. I just love being Black. I'm obsessed with being Black. Maybe not obsessed, but I do love being Black. But I'm also just somebody who just really enjoys just learning about other people of color and just really seeing diversity everywhere I go. And one thing that I really love seeing people of color in is in animated movies and shows, things like that, just seeing them in the media and pop culture, because I do love learning about different cultures and just really seeing the beauty and even learning about the faults of other people of different races. Just kind of going back a little bit again, I really love seeing that in movies. Honestly, specifically animated movies, where I feel like it's a little easier to just go ahead and say, all right, let's just cast this Caucasian boy as the main character. So just kind of going through all the movies I've seen that feature a person of color. I love seeing a person of color, but I also love learning about their culture too. If I was just doing it based on a person who wasn't white, it'd have to hands down be this Into the Spider-Verse movie, produced by Sony, because that, if you have not seen that movie yet, I highly, highly, highly suggest you go see it. It's really good, but we're not gonna get into why it's really good. That's a conversation for another podcast. But if we were focused on the person of color and their culture, I would have to say it would be Over the Moon, which is a Netflix original. That one, if you have not seen, again, you gotta go see it. It's a musical also, for those who love musicals. But right now, there's another musical, a Disney musical, that's kind of fighting for a spot right now that just recently came out. Y'all know what it is. I don't even know why I'm trying to make y'all guess. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all, let's throw it down. Let's talk about Encanto. I've seen the movie back in, I believe, in October. Loved it so much. Then it came out on Disney Plus. I was like, let me watch this again. Loved it extra hard. Then I watched it maybe 5 more times. And I'm just like, bro, this movie is amazing. And I'm obviously not the only person that feels that way. There's just so many people out there who are just as obsessed with the movie. People are doing covers of the songs, people are doing cosplays, people are doing their own art, people are throwing in their own OCs into their fan art. There's just People are creating these theories, and the success that this movie has right now is insane. I believe the song We Don't Talk About Bruno, I believe, hit #1 on like the billboards or something, or I don't know, like something to do with streams. I think it hit #1 on the billboard, which either way, this should prove that this song is nothing to be messed with. Same with the movie. Don't play with Encanto. That movie is big ballin' right now. And I've kind of been interested in why this movie is so successful in the first place. And I kind of had to have that sit down with myself and just kind of think about it. And also rewatch the movies a couple more times, which, hey, I ain't complaining. Because, like I said, I love Encanto too. Shit. Anyways, but before I move on, I do want to warn you guys, if you have not seen this movie yet, there are maybe like some small spoilers in here, so if you don't mind too much, keep going. If you do mind, be careful, or you might just want to stop. But hey, I'm gonna get into this. I love talking about Encanto. So just a quick rundown on what the movie is about. Alma, or Abuela, her husband was killed, and as a result of that quote sacrifice, she was given a miracle. And she was given a house to live in, and all the townspeople that kind of ran away with her, I think they kind of like live within like that town, or they create that town. And that's not all. Abuela's kids, their triplets, they were given magical powers, and their her kids were also given magical powers, and Abuela basically instructs them to go out and use their powers to help the townsfolk, and they kind of have to keep this certain image up. And there's this one girl, Mirabelle, who that is a granddaughter to Abuela, and she is not given a power. And obviously, this hurts her feelings. Shit, I'd be hurt too. But she then starts to notice that the house, I don't want to say at that time it was breaking, but something was wrong with it. The house is like a sentient being, by the way. It's not just like this random schmandom house. No, it's an actual house that like moves and like has kind of a mind of its own. It's kind of creepy if you think about it, but I assure you it's really cute. Either way, something's going on with the house, and Mirabelle makes it her mission to figure out what's going on and to save the family. Encanto is Disney's second Latino movie, which is based in Colombia. And then the first one is, as far as to my knowledge, was Coco, which I believe was released in like 2017 or 2018. It was based in Mexico. Now, I kind of want to talk about the two for a second, just because they're both Latino movies that I feel like do really, really well in appreciating their culture rather than appropriating. Both of these movies have like one thing that just really, really, really made me go, wow, y'all put y'all foot in this movie. Coco's creative depiction of the Day of the Dead Coco's creative depiction of the Day of the Dead was really beautiful, and I loved it a lot, but it also really made me think. I know a couple of times that was mentioned in the movie was the ofrenda, and like I kind of understood what was going on and what it was meant for, but I went online and did my own research. I very rarely do that for movies in general, so like the fact that I went and did that was kind of like, movies already at the top, y'all. We love to see it. So there was that, and then Encanto, I felt, gave a more honest depiction versus a stereotypical depiction of Colombia, which a lot of media like to describe it as like dirty and crime ridden and look at all these drugs, and that's not 100% true. However, there's still some sort of honesty to this movie. I know I mentioned earlier about Abuela's husband getting killed. This was due to armed conflict way back when, I don't know really the time period, but I know Colombia dealt with armed conflict a lot. I don't know if it was a social thing or like a money, economical thing, but that was a real and devastating problem back then. So it was kind of nice to see something like that. I don't want to say nice as in like, wow, this is great, but like nice as in this is what they had to deal with back then. Just kind of showing that reality. It's good to be transparent, especially in a kids movie. I feel like showing things like that is really risky, but it opens up conversations between you and your kid, and you can do the research together. And that's your main thing when it comes to having kids, is to be open and to be able to have these conversations so you can teach them and have them become a more knowledgeable and more empathizing or sympathizing person. So pushing a little more, I do want to point out, I'm not trying to say Coco wasn't good, because I know we're supposed to be discussing how Encanto was so successful and why it was so successful. I'm not trying to say Coco wasn't a good movie. In fact, if we're just doing my personal opinion and my personal enjoyment, I'm picking Coco because I really love the theme. I really love the message of being your own person and that message of acceptance, which is two things that I feel are important for being yourself and to create a cohesive family of any kind. So not just by blood, but also by your friends or your coworkers or a club, whatever, just creating a really good group. And now that I think about it, Coco and Encanto are kind of similar when it comes to dealing with family. They both have a grandmother that can be seen as controlling to upkeep a certain image for their family. It's just the only difference is Miguel's family, they're all shoemakers. They're shoemakers because Imelda was a shoemaker because her husband left her and her daughter for music, allegedly. And Imelda was just like, you know what? This man is a disgrace. No music. The shoes will help. And so everybody became a shoemaker. And everybody seems content with it except for Miguel. So, whereas in Encanto, they get their powers and Abuela's like, hey, yo, you're going to use these powers to help townsfolk, and you need to make sure that you are upkeeping this great image and ABCD. And it seems like everybody's okay with it, but then there's some family members revealed later on to be uncomfortable with this. They seemed overwhelmed, most notably Luisa and Isabella. And there was one scene where Abuela and Mirabel were they were having a falling out, and the rest of the family members were kind of like looking on to the situation, and everybody seemed kind of disturbed. And I do wonder if they looked disturbed because the two were fighting, or they looked disturbed because Mirabel was speaking facts and they felt what she was saying was true. They're all like, we love this family, but what we don't love is you pushing us to be these perfect, amazing, like helpful people, and all we're good for is our powers. But that's just a theory. I'm not saying that that's true. That's just something that I kind of observed in my millions and millions of views watching this movie. So, and to be fair, Coco didn't really focus on the family too much, but rather more on Miguel and Hector rather than the whole family like Encanto did. We received more insight on Mirabel's immediate family, so Luisa and Isabella, and then later on Bruno. And that's kind of what makes Encanto so good, and based on my personal opinion and me analyzing and really looking at every detail of the film, that's what would make it better than Coco. Every detail, from the song, the script, the visual, the story, the themes, all of this contribute to create this amazing movie. Not one little detail was missed or disconnected from this movie. And I'm the type of person that always focus on, okay, so what is the message this movie is trying to deliver to me, and how do they do it? When you're using all that stuff to connect to that, you already have a pretty good movie on your hands. I'm not really like a film person. I'm not really a media person. I took like one media arts and design class in college. But from those little things, or from that one class that I've learned to kind of analyze movies based on those things. But if I didn't take that class and I didn't really look into movies the way that I do, I think the biggest thing that would pull me in is going to be the songs. Songs, I feel like, are a universal language between those who really be analyzing like me and those who just watch movies for fun. And that's why musicals are so popular. The songs in Encanto, What Else Can I Do, Surface Pressure, and We Don't Talk About Bruno, they're all catchy and fun songs that children can dance to and they can learn the chorus to and be cute and adorable and put in their little dance showcase at the end of the dance semester at studios, while adults can understand the whole song, and then they can even catch little bites or snippets that either show how the character really feels and or hints at something that will be revealed later on. So it's like fun little mind game for the adults. That's why Disney movies usually are said to be also enjoyed by, they're made for kids but can be enjoyed by adults too. One of the songs that I really want to talk about though, that everybody keeps talking about, is We Don't Talk About Bruno. And the reason why that song is so popular, in my opinion, is because of just how colorful it is, and I mean literally and metaphorically. I really love how everyone kind of has like their own portrayal of who they think Bruno was. Papa and Felix are like, oh, he's just this mischievous, spiteful man who ruined our wedding. He's nothing but trouble. And Dolores kind of sees she's a little more neutral on her end. She's kind of speaking as if he's a more complex man. He's more apprehensive. Camilo's, who has the best part in the song, his is so exaggerated. He's like, this man is devilish, he's atrocious, he's heinous. Which, something interesting I thought about when watching this movie, Mirabelle was pretty young. I don't know how old, maybe exactly, like maybe 5 or 6, maybe even 7, when she went to receive her gift and then didn't. Sorry, I don't mean to do that. Anyways, but if she was between 5 and 7 years old, Camilo probably was as well. And when you're kids, you tend to, when you hear about things that are supposed to be scary or mean, you tend to make it 10 times bigger in your head just because you're so imaginative. So Camila probably doesn't even remember who Bruno was like that, and it's probably just kind of going off of what Abuela and everyone else is telling him, which I thought was really interesting. But again, that's just kind of a theory. It's just kind of something I thought of. That's not, I don't know, that's canon. Whatever. Just something interesting I thought of. And Isabella's part, she doesn't really say anything about him, but rather about what he said to her about herself. I just want to point out, I don't think she was singing it in like a bragging way, like, haha, well, he told me my life's gonna be great and you guys all suck. You gotta remember, in her song, What Else Can I Do?, she talks about just kind of like being free and not having to be this perfect girl. And she reveals to Mirabelle, spoiler, that she didn't even want to get married to, what is that man's name? I almost said Bruno. What is that boy's name? I'm like singing the song in my head. Anyways, Isabella's boyfriend, I'm sorry, I can't remember the name. She reveals that she doesn't want to marry him. So we already know that like she was unhappy and not really living the life that she really wanted to live. In her song, she talks about how the life that she really wants to live will soon be here for her and she'll get to have it. And I think she's just kind of like, oh my gosh, like, I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I wonder when I'm gonna get there. I think that's how I took her verse. Like, I know a lot of people were just like, oh, it was kind of like bragging and like shoving it in Mirabelle's face. Da, 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 da. I didn't see it that way. I saw it more of like she was kind of finding relief and she just couldn't wait to finally have what Bruno was telling her, which kind of hints at later in the movie. Whoa. And there's also just like little tidbits that you can catch like in the background and lyrics. For example, Dolores is like, I can hear him now. He's in the house. The family's like, he's here. They're talking about Isabella's boyfriend, but it could also allude to the fact that Bruno, once again, is in the house. Bruno dancing in the background while Dolores is singing. That's just like a fun little tidbit. And also, my mans was getting it. And kind of going back to when I said colorful, literally, I want to talk about the colors for a second. Dolores kind of had like orange lighting, which is like alert. She realizes Bruno is still in this house, so like that's got her full attention. She was like, whoa, this man never even left. Green for Camilo, because he's describing someone who is evil, which Disney uses green for a lot of their villains. For example, the Shadow Man, Dr. Facilier, and Scar, and Maleficent. And I just want to say again, these songs just really have something for everyone. And they're just overall, the main thing is that it's catchy. Do you not see all these people on Instagram and TikTok and whatever else people are using, cosplaying and singing these songs? So, yeah, like the movie is for adults, but the main target audience is for children, and that's natural for a Disney movie. So you gotta make sure that you have some really good songs in there. But I do also want to point out that they also have to keep adding things in movies to make sure that people are staying hooked. And in the period of time that we are in today, I feel like people are slowly trying to showcase more diversity in film and TV. Like, I think now that like they're adding this to kind of be like a hook to pull people in, which is kind of sad. I say sad because it could be for a cash grab, but some people actually have genuine good intentions, and they're putting in diversity, they're putting in people of color and their culture so that these children can have something to look up to when they're watching this and as they're getting older. And Encanto is not only an example, but it's a great example. Not only are they showcasing Latinos, but they also have Afro-Latinos, which, tell me one movie you've seen an Afro-Latino in. Tell me one. Tell me one right now. Tell me one that you've seen that looks like that little boy, Antonio. Tell me one. You can't? Okay. And if you can, just tell me in the comments. But I do believe Afro-Latinos are highly underrepresented, which is why I'm like super psyched to like see the direction that they went to when they were adding these characters in. I think it's really important for younger kids to see these characters and just be able to say, oh my god, like they look like me, or wow, he's so cool, or she's so pretty, and to idolize them and to see these characters do these amazing things, these unbelievable things that they see these white characters do. It's important to recognize and normalize the look and the actions of people of color. And I just love seeing how happy this movie makes children of color. Like, hold on. In fact, hold on. Let me pull up some videos. We're going to watch together, and I just want to show y'all how cute this is. Give me 1 second. All right. I have a couple things here. This isn't a video, but I do have a photo album. It's just two of a little boy who sees Antonio, and it's the cutest thing ever. The mom and the dad, they went on Good Morning America and they did like a whole interview, and they were just like, their son was just like truly infatuated with the character. He could not take his eyes off the screen. He would turn, he would smile and point, and it's just like the cutest thing ever. And it's just an example that shows that kids love when they see someone that looks like them on TV, because it's like, wow, like that's me, or that could be me. And it's just like a really beautiful thing. And here's like the other one, he's just like watching, like, actually, do I like this ankle? No, it's about the same. But yeah, no, he really looks like Antonio, and I think it's the cutest little thing. And look at his little smile! Look at his smile! How can you not love that? So there's one. And then here's a video. Hopefully the sound will play. Hold on, let me turn it on.
Olha pra mamãe, deixa eu conhecer você.
Eu cresci, mamãe.
Você cresceu aonde?
Que lindo! Sou eu, mamãe.
O quê?
Sou eu.
Okay, that's... Again, she was really happy. She couldn't stop talking about it. She was smiling and pointing. She was watching Mirabelle move around. And y'all, she really do look like Mirabelle too. Especially her younger version. This is the cutest little thing ever. And again, for like the 100th time, kids love to see this shit. And we need to keep doing this to show them that who they are and what they look like is normal. And not only is it normal, but it's beautiful, and you should be proud of who you are. We have to continue this type of representation in media. Yeah, so just to kind of wrap it up, Encanto is a very well put together movie that showcases all the things that we want to see nowadays in a modern animated movie. We want to see subtle but clear points to the message or to the theme using all aspects of creating a film. It has crazy catchy songs that at this point I probably know all the lyrics to. And the movie showcases diversity and a little bit of culture. This is what makes Encanto so successful, and that's how it made its way to the top of so many people's favorite Disney movie list for both kids and adults, really. And you know what? I think I'm going to leave it here for today. I think that was a good beat that we dropped together. That's all. Thank you guys for listening. My next episode will be out in March. And if you have any ideas for that, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And tell me what you guys thought. This was my very first episode. And I know there's some things that you're like, wow, you did wrong. But also, wow, you did really right. So let me know down below. I will read, I'll try to respond, all that great stuff. You can find my podcast on YouTube, which is probably where you're viewing this, but stay tuned. I will have another platform for this to be available on. If you have any ideas for where else this podcast should be dropped, you can let me know privately, or you can let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely consider it. I just want to make this available to as many people as possible. And I also have my social media linked in the description below and also in my about page. And I also have a couple of links that I use to make sure that I was getting some things right. Citations, I will have that in a little separate document as well in the description. So thank you guys so much for listening. I can't wait to talk to you guys again. This was so freaking cool and so freaking interesting to talk about. It was so, like, y'all, that was sick. That was such a good thing to discuss. All right. I guess I'm going to go and watch Encanto for, like, the millionth and fourth time. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.